Chapter 1. Chapter 1. Transmigration. Encounter with Evil Spirit?
Noon.
The sun was hanging high in the sky, its scorching rays mercilessly baking the earth. The shanty towns haphazardly arranged self-built wooden huts, tall or short, large or small, crammed together, and the stench of feces and urine permeating the air became even stronger under the sun's blistering heat.
5.
In a wooden hut at the southwestern corner, Su Ping lay on a bed emitting a moldy and peculiar smell, eyes vacantly staring at the cobweb-covered beams. 2 days, a full 2 days. No one knew how he managed through these 2 days. 2 days ago, Su Ping was just a homebody for whom stepping outside was considered a travel adventure. 3. Usually, apart from going to work, he huddled at home playing games. That night, he gamed on his phone late into the night, unknowingly drifting off to sleep. Upon waking, he found himself in another world. Moreover, he had taken over the body of a cultivator with the same name. At first, Su Ping thought he was dreaming, except this dream was very long and very vivid.
1.
Only today did he finish absorbing all the original host's memories. He resignedly accepted reality.
2.
This is not a dream. How did it come to this? Su Ping sighed deeply. Couldn't help but want to shed tears. Logically speaking, transmigrating into a cultivator should be a good thing.
2.
In the host's memories, some powerful cultivators could live for hundreds or even thousands of years and possessed abilities to move mountains and fill seas. But none of this applied to him. This body was already 28 years old, cultivation merely at the 3rd layer of chi cultivation, and neither a cultivation genius nor a family heir, just a small spirit farmer in Dongwu Market. What can be hoped for with this status, this cultivation aptitude? If given a choice, he'd rather drive luxury cars and live in a villa than transmigrate.
2.
Bang.
Bang.
Bang. After lying there for an unknown amount of time, the rough knocking on the wooden door interrupted Su Ping's thoughts. Open the door. Fellow Taoist Su, open the door. Su Ping originally intended to pretend not to hear, but the repeated urging forced him to quickly throw on his outer robe and get up to open the door. Outside the door stood an old man in hemp clothing, his face full of wrinkles, right in front of his door. A flash of memory swiftly arose in Su Ping's mind. The old man's surname was Sun, and everyone called him Old Sun, just like him, a spirit plant farmer in Dongwu Market. Fellow Taoist Su, quick, do you have any spirit stones? Lend me a few. Old Sun grabbed Su Ping's sleeve as soon as the door opened, anxious. Su Ping's face froze. Are you kidding me? Came right off to borrow money? Can I lend it? I don't have any either. You know, I only farm 5 acres of spirit fields. There's hardly any spirit stones left after daily consumption. What happened? Su Ping's heart paused, but his face didn't show it, pretending to be concerned. You? Old Sun stomped anxiously, but finally sighed long. Alas, it's because I was too greedy. A few days ago, didn't I tell you I found a treasure map and suggested you join me to search for treasure? End result was you didn't go, so I went alone.
1.
But there was no treasure there. Instead, a mysterious corpse. I didn't care much. Yet I've had nightmares these days. Now I'm too scared to sleep. Don't know if I've caught something ominous.
2.
Su Ping's heartbeat accelerated, his mind a chaotic mess. Ominous demonic creatures? This is something even more terrifying than demon beasts. It feeds on cultivators' blood essence. This won't implicate me, right? Su Ping discreetly sidestepped a few steps back.
2.
Do you have an exorcism talisman? Old Sun asked Su Ping, bloodshot eyes full of hope. Not sure if psychological effect or not, Su Ping felt Old Sun had an eerie and bloodthirsty vibe. I don't have this either. Exorcism talismans aren't something I can afford. Su Ping replied helplessly. Old Sun's face fell hearing this. Alas, doomed by you. Then, do you have any valuable items?
4.
How can someone be so shameless? Su Ping resisted the urge to curse. No, I'm just a spirit farmer. Where could I have any valuable items? All right, I'll go find others to borrow. Old Sun, seeing no money borrowed, didn't continue pestering, dejectedly hurried away, watching his figure gradually fade into the distance. Su Ping couldn't help but curse under his breath. What kind of people are these?
1.
A world fraught with danger, a familiar face seemingly cursed by demonic influence. Can I just grab a bucket and run? To tell the truth, having just transmigrated and facing such distraught matters, he only wanted to leave this hellish place far behind. Su Ping rubbed his throbbing temple, contemplating for a bit, showing a look of distress. He seemed to have no choice. He's just a small spirit farmer in Dongwu Market, with no background, no power, no spirit stones. Where could he move to? If he hadn't met the seemingly demonically influenced old son, though poor, being a spirit farmer was relatively safe and stable. But if old son indeed had caught something ominous, who knows when he'd just make a snack out of him? Sigh. The path of immortality is fraught with peril. Su Ping sighed, constantly missing the days before transmigration now. But as life goes on, he had to continue living. Collecting his emotions, he tried hard to rejuvenate himself. Oh no! Su Ping's expression suddenly changed, snapping his fingers to his forehead. The past 2 days, he's been muddle-headed, completely forgetting to manage the spirit fields. The 5 acres of spirit fields outside are his livelihood in Dongwu Market. If something goes wrong, being expelled from Dongwu Market would be a light consequence. Dongwu Market was established by the Golden Core Longevity sect. Not many dare cause trouble here, and being near the wasteland, expulsion from the market almost meant certain death. Thinking of this, Su Ping hastily grabbed the hoe resting in the corner and dashed out of the house. The spirit farmer's residential area was near the mountaintop market and was often patrolled, relatively safe. Yet incidents of robbery by cultivators still occur occasionally. Upon reaching the field, Su Ping found numerous weeds growing in the spirit field. Many weeds reached 2 feet high. Nourished by spiritual qi, not only are these weeds stubborn, but they grow rapidly. Weeds compete with spirit rice for nutrients and spiritual qi. They must be eradicated. 3. Tuh. Su Ping spat into his palms, grabbed the hoe handle, and began weeding the field.
1.
He had never done farm work before, but with the original host's memories, he managed quite systematically. Thus, from noon until the sun was about to set, Su Ping finally finished hoeing all 5 acres of spirit fields. So tired, Su Ping was now drenched in sweat, completely sore, his body seemingly not belonging to himself. Yet the work was still not finished. After hoeing, rain was needed. This ensures the spirit rice absorbs sufficient spiritual qi and rainwater to grow strong. It's been days since Su Ping rained on the spirit fields. Many spirit rice leaves' edges started to turn a faint yellow. Su Ping gathered his energy, stood at the field, formed spells, channeling mana from a sea of qi. He was performing the staple skill every spirit farmer must know, the spirit rain skill. Spirit plant farmers have 4 core skills. Spirit rain skill, accelerated maturation skill, gung metal finger, spirit nourishing skill, of which the spirit rain skill is the core of the core. This magic has 6 stages: entry-level, skilled, proficient, minor achievement, major achievement, perfection. Generally, reaching the proficient stage in the Spirit Rain skill marks one as a true first-rank lower-grade spirit plant farmer. Else, they can only be called a spirit farmer. Though Spirit Rain skill is low rank, it's a weather-manipulating magic, difficult to cultivate without talent. Even mid to late Qi cultivators can only hover around entry level. Su Ping also had little talent for Spirit Rain skill, having farmed for years, still at entry level, barely able to irrigate ordinary spirit rice. As the spells unfolded, clouds rapidly gathered from around into a cloud above the spirit field. Soon, a light drizzle began to fall. Is this magic? Su Ping found it quite peculiar witnessing magic for the first time.
Suddenly, ding!
A message abruptly popped into his view. Spirit Rain skill, experience +1. Chapter 2. Chapter 2. Proficiency panel. What the hell? A cheat. Before Su Ping's astonished eyes, the light twisted a few times, and a screen suddenly emerged. Name: Su Ping. Lifespan, 2898 years. Realm. Qi Cultivation Level 3, 71/100. Cultivation Technique. 5 Elements Skill Proficient. Level 3, 143/200. Skills. Spirit Rain Skill Entry Level, 12 out of 100. Gung Metal Finger Entry Level, 78 out of 101. Staring blankly for a while, Su Ping saw no other anomalies, and his stiff body gradually came back to life. He repeatedly summoned and closed the panel several times. It's not an illusion. He was thrilled. Golden Finger. 4. Without a doubt, this belonged to his own golden finger. Su Ping felt secure, as he finally had a sense of safety in this dangerous world. Phew. He took a deep breath, suppressing the excitement and agitation in his heart. Su Ping carefully examined the virtual interface. The attributes were clear and straightforward. No matter how he tried, he couldn't find anything he could operate. The game panel had no interactive intelligence or recharge options. Is it simply displaying my data? Su Ping was troubled. What use was this golden finger? If he could rate it, he would definitely give it a 1-star review.
2.
Wait, why did I see an experience prompt when using the Spirit Rain skill? Could it be? Su Ping's eyes lit up, thinking of a possibility. He suppressed his hidden excitement and flicked his fingers. A sharp golden beam shot from his fingertips, instantly burrowing into the soil, forming a small finger-width, 6-inch deep hole. Gung Metal Finger, Experience +1. A message popped up in his vision. Su Ping's gaze quickly fell on the panel. The Gung Metal Finger entry level, 78/100, had turned into Gung Metal Finger entry level, 79/100. Phew, just as expected, his heart began to beat rapidly, continuing to experiment. Each flick of the finger increased the panel's proficiency by 1. He kept activating it until his spiritual power was nearly half exhausted before he stopped. And now, the Gung Metal Finger proficiency had become 90 out of 100. Phew. Su Ping breathed heavily, looking at the panel with surprise and joy. Every practice forcibly adds 1 point to proficiency. Effort meets reward.
2.
Su Ping couldn't help but grin widely. With this proficiency, what do I have to fear then?
1.
No. I still have many fears, like the possibly sinister Old Sunday. Thinking of Old Sun's pale, somewhat eerie face, the excitement on Su Ping's face gradually faded. Be humble, again be humble. Even with a golden finger, he's still a novice in this dangerous world. Su Ping calmed down and began to ponder how the proficiency panel could assist him. Can I make money with the proficiency panel? His first thought was whether he could use the proficiency panel to earn spirit stones and move to the market center. The market center is protected by arrays, with security far superior to that of the slum areas. Yet, after thinking it over, he still couldn't find a way to make money with the proficiency panel. The idea of earning proficiency for Spirit Rain skill to become a spirit plant farmer was unlikely to work short-term. Even if he became a spirit plant farmer, it would take time to cultivate spirit medicine to earn money. By then, it would be too late. As for other cultivation skills, they either require investment of spirit stones, or he simply has no access. How come having a cheat still makes earning money so hard? Su Ping sighed helplessly. At this moment, a tall and burly middle-aged man approached with a proud-looking elderly man in luxurious attire. Su Ping recognized them. The middle-aged man's surname was Chen. The proud-looking elderly man was Elder Yen. Both were spirit farmers. However, Elder Yen differed from ordinary spirit farmers. His proficient Spirit Rain skill made his life particularly prosperous. Each level of Spirit Rain skill was another world. If spirit rice was constantly irrigated with proficient Spirit Rain skill, its yield would more than double that of the entry-level skills irrigation. Especially during the critical fruiting period of spirit rice, irrigating once or twice with proficient Spirit Rain skill would yield at least 20% more spirit rice. According to Su Ping, his annual spirit rice yield was about 1,000 pounds, which meant an extra 200 pounds. This was 4 spirit stones more. Even if 60% had to be submitted, there were still 16 spirit crystals left. So, every year around this time, spirit farmers would spend spirit stones to invite Elder Yen to irrigate their fields. Thus, within the surrounding 50 miles, he was considered quite the figure. How did I not think of this? Su Ping slapped his forehead, annoyed. He had not interacted with Elder Yen before and hadn't thought that proficient spirit rain skill could also earn money. However, realizing this was still not too late. With the proficiency panel, spirit rain skill could break through in just a few days. Moreover, the fruiting period of spirit rice lasted a whole month. Su Ping thought for a bit and followed the two. In the spirit field, Elder Yen was using the spirit rain skill to irrigate the spirit rice. It should be said that the proficient spirit rain skill indeed gathered double the clouds Su Ping could, and the spiritual qi within the rainwater was astoundingly rich. Su Ping's eyes brightened, watching with great interest. After 1 incense stick's time, Elder Yen finished irrigating 5 acres of spirit field and was about to rest and recover his mana when he noticed Su Ping on the embankment. No, he must have noticed earlier. He just didn't pay attention to Su Ping while irrigating the spirit rice. What? Do you want to learn to irrigate others' spirit fields like me? Elder Yen eyed Su Ping for a moment and chuckled. Su Ping was surprised. Elder Yen had seen through his thoughts. Seemingly aware of Su Ping's confusion, Elder Yen straightened his back and smiled calmly. There have been many with your thoughts, believing they could learn proficient spirit rain skill just by watching me. Unfortunately, this thing mainly relies on talent. Young man, take my advice. Following me and irrigating spirit fields leads to a dead end. Being a spirit farmer has a very promising future. Elder Yen looked as if he had profound knowledge. Su Ping was utterly perplexed. If he weren't a spirit farmer, he would have believed Elder Yan's nonsense, that being a spirit farmer was a very promising career. I won't stop you. Nowadays, young people won't turn back until they hit a wall. The elder chuckled and continued to irrigate the spirit fields. Evening. After a day of work, Su Ping returned to his house. He pushed open the door and entered. The wooden house provided by Dongwu Market was quite simple. There was a small yard at the front for drying grains, a small backyard with a well, and that was it. The interior was even simpler. Except for the kitchen, which at least had a pot and stove, the bedroom only had a bed, a clothes rack, and nothing else. The living conditions needed improvement. Su Ping shook his head. He filled water from the backyard well to bathe, then started a fire in the kitchen to cook. He took some spirit rice from the rice jar, washed it clean, and put it in the earth stovepat. Ignited the fire. As the pot boiled, white steam lingered in the small kitchen. It diffused the unique aroma of rice. Sitting in front of the stove, Su Ping took a deep breath. He felt even hungrier. Finally, cooking the spirit rice was done. He eagerly lifted the pot lid and scooped a big bowl of steaming rice. Time to eat. Without caring about the heat, he picked up his chopsticks and impatiently shoveled a bite of rice. Delicious. Minutes later, Su Ping had finished a big bowl of rice cleanly. He leaned back in his chair, feeling his belly with satisfaction, lazily unwilling to move. Wait, don't waste time. He remembered something and quickly returned to the bedroom to meditate and train. After meals was the best time for cultivation, allowing maximum absorption and digestion of the spiritual qi and nutrients from the spirit rice. Nourishing oneself and enhancing mana. Su Ping was currently at qi cultivation level 3, far from level 4. If relying on absorbing external spiritual qi to cultivate, the efficiency was very poor. Neither could he afford pills or a spirit gathering array. Thus, he could only rely on spirit rice for daily cultivation support. Chapter 3. Starting to make money. Phew. Su Ping took a deep breath, discarding the clutter of distracting thoughts in his mind, and began to operate the 5-element skill to start cultivating. Because his mana was completely depleted, he had to cultivate for more than an hour to restore his mana to its original state. After regulating the agitated spiritual power for a while, He slowly ended the initial cultivation session. The meridians of early qi refinement cultivators are limited in strength. Normally, training for an hour and a half a day would feel burdensome. While it's still possible to continue, not to mention the drop in efficiency, the meridians would also bear more load, even get injured, which is not conducive to future cultivation. Therefore, to maximize efficiency, the original owner generally practiced 3 times a day. Despite daily persistence, reaching the 4th layer of qi refinement seemed a long way off. However, now with the panel it should be different, right? Su Ping looked at the attribute panel hopefully. The result was that, apart from the 5-element skills proficiency changing from 143/200 to 144 to 200, there was no advancement in his stage. Su Ping felt a bit disappointed, but quickly came to terms with it. The original owner was just a lower-grade spirit root, to begin with poor aptitude. Moreover, the cultivation technique he practiced was the very mediocre 5-element skill. Besides stable cultivation that doesn't easily lead to deviation, it had no strengths. With such aptitude and a cultivation technique, even with panel assistance, one wouldn't become a genius overnight. Take it slow. He believed that once the proficiency of the 5-element skill broke through a level, the cultivation speed would surely be faster. Closing the proficiency panel, Su Ping left the bedroom and stood under the big tree in the backyard. It's you. After watering the spiritual field, Su Ping's practice target for the spirit rain skill was this tree. Of course, he wouldn't give up on this money-making idea just because of Elder Yan's words. Elder Yan said the spirit rain skill mainly relied on talent, but what he didn't know was that Su Ping was in existence even more of a bug than a genius.
2.
Do you understand the value of a cheat? Suppressing his thoughts, Su Ping formed a magic technique, and immediately, dark clouds formed, and the pattering spirit rain began to fall. The raindrops gently fell on the leaves, making a pleasant sound. Spirit rain skill experience +1. The panel notification appeared, but it didn't cause a ripple in Su Ping's heart. Right now, he only wanted to bring the spirit rain skill to a proficient level and then begin his money-making enterprise. Time slowly passed with his repeated practice. The spirit rain skill also gradually approached proficiency level. 5 days later, sunlight shone brightly through the blue sky, as if the whole world was bathed in a layer of golden glow. Old Man Lu carried a hoe to his spiritual field. Usually by this time, he'd be busy in the field already. But just last night, he couldn't resist and went to Widow Li's house. Who knows where this femme fatale learned such a bewitching technique? Almost rendered him unable to get out of bed. Now he felt even his legs were a bit weak. Just a bit too pricey. Old Man Lu smacked his lips as if savoring last night's taste. As he walked, a figure emerged from the fields ahead. Upon a closer look, it was Su Ping. Old Man Lu was just about to greet him when he saw Su Ping performing the spirit rain skill. Suddenly, a dark cloud twice the size of a normal one formed over the field. It soon started to drizzle. The spiritual qi contained in the drizzle was shockingly rich. Proficient level spirit rain skill. Old Man Lu's eyes nearly popped out of his sockets. Though merely a 3rd-layer qi refinement cultivator, he had decades of experience as a spirit farmer and naturally wouldn't mistake the spirit rain skill. And as the core skill of a spirit plant farmer, the spirit rain skill is undeniably challenging. In a range of several dozen miles, there were only a handful of spirit farmers who could reach the proficient level in the spirit rain skill. This kid's got it together? Old Man Lu felt both envious and jealous. He had painstakingly worked a lifetime as a spirit farmer and never even touched the door of proficiency in the spirit rain skill, yet this young lad in his early 20s had broken through.
1.
The heavens are unfair. Fortunately, after experiencing the ups and downs of the cultivation world, Old Man Lu's mindset had changed. He soon recovered. At this moment, seeing Su Ping finish using the spirit rain skill, he quickly hustled over and cheerfully greeted, "Good morning, fellow Taoist Su." His face was full of wrinkles, revealing 2 big yellow teeth when he smiled. "Ah, fellow Taoist Lu." Su Ping turned and, recognizing the person, smiled. Yes, it's me. I didn't expect fellow Taoist Su's spirit rain skill to break through silently, truly a sudden accomplishment. Old man Lu wore a fawning look on his face. Luck, just luck, Su Ping said modestly. This isn't just luck. If breaking through the spirit rain skill were based on luck, countless people would have done it. Fellow Taoist Su relies on talent. Old man Lu started praising Su Ping's talent, saying things like, foundation establishment is nothing, the golden core is the ultimate goal. If Su Ping didn't know his own aptitude, he almost would have believed it. Sigh. Unlike me, with no family in my old age and no one to see me off when I pass. Old man Lu began recounting his miserable past, really a tale to make one's heart ache and eyes tear up. As he spoke of his sorrows, he even secretly wiped away a tear. During the moment he wiped his tear, old man Lu sneakily glanced at Su Ping. Seeing Su Ping's solemn face, seemingly empathetic to his story, old man Lu was delighted. Feeling the time was ripe, he sighed and said, Sigh, I'm getting old, can't even manage my spiritual field. This harvest is sure to plummet. If I can't meet longevity sex quota, I'm afraid I'll be kicked out of Dongwu Market. What will I do then? During the conversation, old man Lu was observing Su Ping's expression. He noticed Su Ping maintaining a heavy expression, yet showing no signs of responding. Say something. Old man Lu couldn't help but curse inwardly. But Su Ping said nothing, leaving old man Lu helpless. He could only grin and added a bit of flattery. Fellow Taoist Su, could you help this old man with watering the spiritual field? Old man Lu had 10 acres of spiritual field in total and initially planned to spend spirit stones to have Elder Yen help water it. But he heard Elder Yen raised his price from the original 1 spirit crystal per acre to 2 spirit crystals per acre. Isn't this just taking advantage of the incoming beast tied to jack-up prices? Old man Lu was so angered that he hadn't gone to Elder Yen, leading to the current delay. This matter, no problem, leave it to me. Su Ping patted his chest confidently. I knew it, fellow Taoist Su, is so. Old man Lu was overjoyed, ready to flatter further, but was interrupted by Su Ping. How much do you plan to pay me per acre? Old man Lu's expression stiffened. Wait, so all I've said was for nothing? Was your serious face all an act earlier? Fellow Taoist Su, Old man Lu attempted to plead poverty again. Just tell me how much you're willing to pay per acre. Seeing Su Ping's adamant demeanor, old man Lu's face wrinkled even more. How much do you want per acre? I heard Elder Yen charges 1 spirit crystal per acre. I'm confident I'm no worse, so let's go with 1 spirit crystal per acre. Su Ping hadn't heard about Elder Yan's price hike. 1 spirit crystal per acre? Old man Lu's eyes widened. He felt Su Ping was definitely making an exorbitant demand. Even the unraised price of Elder Yan's services was just 1 spirit crystal per acre, and Elder Yan's spirit rain skill proficiency was achieved over a decade ago, surely better than Su Ping. Chapter 4 Introducing Business. 1 spirit crystal per acre. That's too expensive. Old man Lu tried to bargain. If not, forget it. Su Ping turned to leave. All right. Seeing Su Ping's resolute attitude, old man Lu stomped his foot angrily. Let's do it your way. Hurry up. Old man Lu really had no choice. Recently, expenses have been a bit high, saving a bit would be good. Besides, he is proficient in the spirit rain skill, so it shouldn't be too bad, right? Su Ping turned back expressionlessly. So it's settled. You must pay your debt. He laughed inwardly. He deliberately revealed his proficiency in the spirit rain skill in front of old man Lu. Although old man Lu is greedy and lustful, he has been an agricultural cultivator for decades, with extensive connections and quite adept at dealing with people. With his help, Su Ping's money-making plan could be much easier. However, in order to hold the leading position in future transactions, his recent performance was necessary. Rest assured, I won't fall short, old man Lu said with annoyance. Then let's go. After the conditions were agreed upon, Su Ping straightforwardly followed old man Lu to his spiritual farmland. Old man Lu's spiritual farmland was twice the size of Su Ping's, with lush green spirit rice stretching into large patches as far as the eye could see. Su Ping walked into the fields without hesitation, pinching his magic technique and beginning to cast the Spirit Rain skill. The proficiency level Spirit Rain skill promptly showed its prowess. As the spell unfolded, clouds rapidly gathered around, and a dark cloud began swirling in the sky, growing increasingly large, seemingly devouring the entire world. Moments later, a gentle spirit rain began to pour down, nourishing the spiritual farmland. Old Man Lu, who had been far away and observing poorly, now watched closely and realized the extraordinary aspect of Su Ping's Spirit Rain skill. The size of the dark cloud formed by the Spirit Rain skill was similar to that of Elder Yan's, but more importantly, the spiritual energy in the rain was shockingly abundant, stronger than that in Elder Yan's Spirit Rain skill. Could Su Ping's Spirit Rain skill be more adept than Elder Yan's? Old Man Lu found it hard to believe. But the scene before him constantly reminded him that it seemed to be the case. He sought Su Ping originally to save money, but Su Ping's Spirit Rain skill was so powerful, making it feel like he stumbled upon a good deal. Thinking of this, Old Man Lu smiled broadly. Even his wrinkled face seemed a bit younger. Getting a bargain truly lifts the mood. In reality, Su Ping's proficiency in the Spirit Rain skill was still a bit inferior to Elder Yan. Yet Elder Yan was old and weak, with physique and meridians far worse than when he was young, and dared not unleash the Spirit Rain skill to its fullest. Using even half of his strength was considered good. Su Ping, on the other hand, cast it with full force, which naturally led to the illusion that Su Ping's Spirit Rain skill was stronger. As the Spirit Rain poured, the ears of spirit rice in the spiritual farmland became increasingly lush and vibrant. Old Man Lu's smile widened. Just as Su Ping finished watering the second acre, he stopped and extended his hand to Old Man Lu. 2 acres, 2 spirit crystals in total. Here, I'm a man of integrity. Knowing he gained a good deal, Old Man Lu quickly pulled out 2 stones emitting faint spiritual light from his body and handed them to Su Ping. Su Ping received the spirit crystals without any fuss. Just like that, using 2 acres as a calculation unit, Su Ping watered Old Man Lu's spiritual farmland step by step. After earning a spirit stone, Su Ping sat down on the ridge. He was exhausted, and his mana was almost completely depleted. If it weren't for his breakthrough in the Spirit Rain skill, which didn't increase mana consumption and enhance control after the breakthrough, he probably couldn't manage to water all 10 acres of Lu Han's farmland in one go. Fellow Taoist Su, you worked hard. Old Man Lu walked over with a grin, somehow pulled out a green fruit from somewhere and handed it to Su Ping. Here, have a fruit to quench your thirst. Thanks. Su Ping took the fruit, washed it with clear water from a water gourd, and took a bite. The flesh was tender, the flavor fragrant, somewhat reminiscent of an apple from a previous life. After a few big bites, his gaze involuntarily fell on Old Man Lu's face, smilingly asking, Fellow Taoist Lu, how do you think my Spirit Rain skill compares to Elder Yan's? Old Man Lu hesitated, wanting to say Su Ping's Spirit Rain skill was stronger, but fearing that saying it might prompt Su Ping to raise the price, he could only ambiguously say, about the same. If so. After discarding the fruit core, Su Ping's eyes gleamed. How about you introduce some business to me, and I'll give you a 20% share? That would be fantastic. Old Man Lu was overjoyed, immediately agreeing. Leave it to me. I'm very familiar with this area and promise to garner business for you. He patted his rib-filled chest with confidence. That was exactly the effect Su Ping sought. With Old Man Lu's help, he could soon make his business flourish. Fellow Taoist Su, actually? Old Man Lu hesitated for a while but eventually spoke up that Su Ping's Spirit Rain skill was stronger than Elder Yan's. Then he took the opportunity to suggest Su Ping raise his price, considering Elder Yan charged 2 spirit crystals per acre, and there seemed to be no reason for a superior Spirit Rain skill to be priced at just 1 spirit crystal. After giving it some thought, Su Ping still refused. As a newcomer, demanding 2 spirit crystals directly, even with Old Man Lu's help, would make initial business surely difficult. Now, the fruiting period was less than a month away, and once his reputation grew, it would be too late. Low prices can attract spiritual farmers. Besides, there's hardly any cost involved. Fellow Daoist Su is certainly thoughtful. I'll go find some people now. Old Man Lu ran off, faster than a rabbit. Su Ping chuckled silently. How enthusiastic. Returning home, Su Ping headed straight for the bedroom. He came to the bedside, bent down, and pulled out a black pottery jar from under the bed, which contained all the belongings of the original owner. Being called all the belongings, but it wasn't really much. Just 7 spirit crystals and 2 fireball talismans. It was really miserably poor. Fortunately, today he made a hefty profit. Su Ping happily placed the 10 spirit crystals in his arms into the jar. 1 spirit stone might not be a fortune for him, but it could buy 50 pounds of spirit rice, and if he saves, it's enough for him for 2 months. More importantly, his business has only started, and future wealth is within reach. Finally able to relish days of feasting on meat. Although spirit rice is quite tasty, as a meat lover, he hadn't had a bite of meat since crossing over and was really craving it. Su Ping tried to see if he could hunt some ordinary animals for a treat, but this area had been cultivated for decades, filled with cultivators. Animals had long been hunted clean. To eat meat, he could only buy demon beast flesh from the market. But demon beast flesh is pricey. The original owner had never been willing to buy it. Of course, whether Su Ping could consistently have meat depended on how well Old Man Lu, his intermediary, performed. Chapter 5. Booming business. The moon hangs high.
Bedroom.
Puff, puff, puff. With a series of gentle sounds, streaks of golden light shot out from between his fingers, instantly embedding into the floor. The next moment, the power of the golden light suddenly increased, directly blasting a deep pit into the ground. Did I break through? Su Ping's eyes lit up. He couldn't wait to open the panel. Name, Su Ping. Lifespan, 2898 years. Realm, Qi Cultivation Level 3, 71/100. Cultivation Technique, 5 Elements Skill Proficient, Level 3 160/200. Skills, Spirit Rain Skill Proficient, 21 out of 200. Gung Metal Finger Mastered, 1 out of 401. I really broke through. Su Ping was overwhelmed with excitement. Breaking through with Gung Metal Finger means his self-defense ability in this dangerous world has been elevated. Although he is far from being able to fully protect himself, any increase in strength always brings immense joy. Moreover, the mastery level Gung Metal Finger is significantly more powerful compared to entry-level and proficient levels, almost reaching a qualitative change. Faster speed, longer range, greater destructive power. Su Ping felt that his grasp and understanding of this spell had deepened significantly, yet the mana consumption did not increase remarkably. The proficiency of Gung Metal Finger increased so quickly he couldn't help but marvel. In just 5 days, I've already mastered it. This speed far surpasses the Spirit Rain skill. That being said, the practice cost for the two differs greatly. Gung Metal Finger is almost instantaneous and doesn't consume much mana. Practicing it dozens of times a day is completely feasible. On the other hand, as a weather-controlling magic, the Spirit Rain skill consumes more mana and takes a longer time. At this rate, I believe it won't take long before Gung Metal Finger breaks through again. Su Ping was full of anticipation. The power of a mastered Gung Metal Finger is already considerable. If it breaks through again, the power would be unimaginable. Can it handle the mid-stage Qi cultivation? Early the next morning. Knock knock. There was an urgent and rhythmic knocking at the door, accompanied by the shouting of Old Man Lu. Fellow Daoist Su, open the door. Su Ping got out of bed, wrapped in clothes, and went to open the door. He saw Old Man Lu with an excited look on his face. Fellow Daoist Su, business has come. It's the Zhou family, and I've already negotiated with them. That was fast. It seems Old Man Lu is doing well as a middleman. Su Ping was delighted in his heart. Let's go. He closed the door and went with Old Man Lu to the Zhou family's place. Even though he hadn't had breakfast, business was a priority. The Zhou family lived 3 miles from Su Ping's place. Like Old Man Lu, they also cultivated 10 acres of spirit land. When they arrived at the Zhou family, Old Man Zhou greeted them with a smile. Fellow Daoist Su, you're truly a young genius, breaking through with the spirit rain skill at such a young age. If Old Man Lu hadn't come to his house yesterday, swearing that Su Ping's spirit rain skill had already broken through, he could hardly believe it and wouldn't have asked Su Ping to water his spirit fields. Just luck, Su Ping said with a modest smile. Let's not waste time with pleasantries. It's better to let fellow Daoist Su water the spirit fields first. Old Man Lu chuckled, pulling Old Man Zhou aside, leaving the position for Su Ping. Then I trouble you, fellow Daoist Su. Old Man Zhou cupped his hands. You're too kind. Su Ping returned the gesture and stepped into Old Man Zhou's spirit field. The sunlight on the fertile land seemed to dress the green spirit rice with a layer of golden clothes. The air was filled with the fragrance of the soil, mixed with the scent of spirit rice, making people feel refreshed and relaxed. I believe Su Ping breakthrough with spirit rain skill, but saying it's stronger than Elder Yan seems exaggerated. After Su Ping stepped into the spirit fields, Old Man Zhou whispered to himself, a hint of doubt in his eyes. You'll know when you see it, then you'll realize how great the bargain you've gotten, Old Man Lu said confidently. Really? Upon hearing this, Old Man Zhou was skeptical, yet somewhat persuaded, though suspicion was the prevailing feeling. At this time, a few neighbors gathered on the field bank to watch the fun, whispering among themselves. Old Zhou invited Su Ping to water the spirit fields. It seems so. Yesterday, Old Man Lu also came to me, saying Su Ping's spirit rain skill had broken through to proficiency, even stronger than Elder Yan's. Really? Who knows? The doubts and discussions of the onlookers did not affect Su Ping at all. He stood in the spirit fields, pinching the spell, mobilizing the mana within him. With his actions, the spirit rain skill began to operate. The surrounding clouds quickly gathered, and a dark cloud rolled up in the sky, growing larger, as if the entire sky was left with this patch of dark clouds. Gradually, the discussion about Su Ping vanished, and everyone's gaze was focused on him. Their mouths slowly opened wide in disbelief. They were stunned. This is the proficient level spirit rain skill. How many spirit farmers have never even reached the threshold of proficiency in their entire lives? Maybe the dark cloud is just a bit bigger. Deep down, they still didn't want to believe that Su Ping, at such a young age, had broken through to the proficient level with spirit rain skill. By comparison, it seemed as if all the years they had lived had been wasted. Only when the gentle spiritual rain fell, it shattered that notion completely. They could only shout inwardly, "May geniuses not die well."
2.
This truly is proficient level and even stronger than Elder Yan's spirit rain skill. Old Man Zhou was overjoyed, intending to save money, but never expected to get such a great deal. Old Man Lu, with a triumphant look, said to the few stupefied onlookers, "If any of you also want someone to water your spirit fields, tell me soon, or it might be too late to arrange." "How much per acre?" someone inquired. "1 spirit crystal per acre," Old Man Lu replied. "That cheap?" Everyone was astonished, glancing at each other. Elder Yan charges 2 spirit crystals per acre. Su Ping's spirit rain skill is clearly superior, yet he only asks for 1 spirit crystal per acre? Consider yourselves lucky. Old Man Lu shook his head, looking as if they had caught a great bargain. Those who want watering, act quickly or miss this chance. I want it. My family too." A few neighbors rushed to Old Man Lu to sign up. It's foolish not to take advantage of a bargain. One at a time, signing up requires an advance deposit. Seeing several people sign up, Old Man Lu beamed. This was easy money. Even with only 20% profit, he could still earn a lot. The hustle and bustle on the field bank did not affect Su Ping. Spirit rain skill, experience +1. Spirit rain skill, experience +1. Spirit rain skill, experience +1. With the panel notifications, the 10 acres of spirit fields were finally fully irrigated by him. Because he hadn't eaten breakfast, he was now both tired and hungry, his internal mana almost entirely depleted. If only I could break through to Chi Cultivation Level 4, he couldn't help but lament in his heart. Unfortunately, he was still dozens of points away from breaking through, feeling a bit helpless inside, unsure of when he would achieve it. Chapter 6. Chapter 6. Refunding the deposit. At this moment, Old Man Lu approached Su Ping, excitedly handing over the reward of a spirit stone to Su Ping, and gratefully said, "Fellow Taoist Su, thank you very much." "No need for thanks," Su Ping replied with a smile. "It's only right to get paid for work." "Let's go, fellow Taoist Su. There's still a few more families to visit. Let's head to Old Wang's place first." Old Man Lu urged Su Ping as he hurried along. "I'm only at the 3rd level of Qi cultivation, and my mana was already depleted after watering fellow Taoist Zhou's spirit field." Su Ping grumbled. "I completely forgot." Old Man Lu scratched his head in embarrassment. In his eagerness to make money, he had forgotten about this. Thus, they could only wait for Su Ping's mana to recover before proceeding. Luckily, after consuming a bowl of spirit rice, Su Ping's mana quickly replenished. Though still quite fatigued, the desire to earn spirit stones motivated him to head to Old Wang's house. After collecting another spirit stone, Su Ping finally finished his work for the day.
Squeak, squeak.
The cicadas on the sycamore by the path were shrieking exhaustively, causing irritation. However, Su Ping was in a great mood. He had earned 2 spirit stones today and added yesterday's 1. After deducting 4 spirit crystals given to Old Man Lu, he still had 26 spirit crystals.
2.
Earning this much in 2 days was equivalent to half a year's income for him. Indeed, laborious farming has no future. Mastering a skill is the real deal. Su Ping's lips curled into a smile. Returning home, Su Ping skillfully prepared the meal. The rice boiled in the pot, releasing an enticing aroma. Having consumed 2 large bowls of rice to fill his stomach, he headed to the bedroom to begin his routine cultivation. Half an hour later, his dantian was brimming with mana. Su Ping slowly exhaled a breath of impure air, ending his cultivation, and opened his eyes, focusing on the panel. Name: Su Ping. Lifespan: 2898 years. Realm: Qi Refining Realm. 3rd level: 72/100. Cultivation technique: 5 element skill. Proficient: 3rd layer 162/200. Skills: Spirit Rain skill. Proficient: 41/200. Gung Metal Finger. Mastered: 146/400. The realm progressed? Su Ping's heart shook, his gaze flitting across the panel repeatedly, afraid he had made a mistake. Convinced he hadn't, the realm indeed shifted from Qi Refining Realm, 3rd level, 71/100 to Qi Refining Realm, 3rd level, 72/100. Not easy at all. Su Ping couldn't help but sigh. Ever since crossing over, it's been 10 days, and he hadn't slacked, finally making a dent in his realm. Calculating this way, breaking through to the 4th level of Qi Refining Realm should take. Su Ping used his fingers. He couldn't use them, hastily getting up to find paper and pen. God's mercy, he had no paper or pen at home. 1. Helplessly, he could only go outside, picking up a branch to sketch on the ground. Calculating roughly, breaking through 1 point every 12 or 13 times. 1. It should take a year. Reaching the 4th level of Qi Refining Realm at 29. Better than nothing. Su Ping was somewhat satisfied with his progress, though faster would definitely be better. After all, he didn't want to be stuck in the Qi Refining Realm for life. Foundation Establishment, Golden Core, Nascent Soul, even eternal life as an immortal, he yearned for them all. Yet, even the first hurdle of Foundation Establishment had thwarted countless individuals. Before 60, mastering the fundamental cultivation technique to the perfection of the 9th level of Qi Refining Realm was merely a minimal requirement, let alone the 3 major thresholds. At his current cultivation speed, he feared he might only reach the 9th level perfection at over 50. Although there is still a chance to break through to Foundation Establishment, the margin for error is very low. He certainly wanted to achieve the 9th level perfection of Qi Refining Realm sooner, so even if he failed once, there would be another chance. But if he wants faster progress, he needs external resources, such as pills for increasing cultivation. These pills have always been costly. If he were his previous self, he wouldn't be able to afford it. But now, that's uncertain. 4 days later, in the morning, Elder Yen was having breakfast at home. At 65 years old, he had begun to pay attention to health preservation, usually eating finer meals. A bowl of spirit rice, with a plate of farm-fresh vegetables and some boiled, tender demon beast flesh on the side. Chewing slowly, he finished eating, arriving at the meditation room to circulate his mana, nourishing his body and meridians. At his age, his vitality was beginning to decline. The immortal path held no hope. His lifetime would only revolve at the 4th level of qi cultivation. Yet, health preservation is indispensable. Daily post-meal circulation to nourish the body would let him live longer than those only knowing to fight blindly. Moreover, crucially, even at 65, he felt his vigor was undiminished. Some not fully shut-door people praised him as being more capable than some young men. This truly made him immensely proud. After half an hour, Elder Yen ended the nourishment session. After tidying his robes, he was ready to head out to water others' spirit fields. As one of the few spirit farmers proficient in spirit rain skill during the fruit-bearing period, his daily schedule was very tight. Countless spirit farmers sought him for watering their spirit fields. Thus, he decided to raise his prices amidst the current beast tide crisis. After all, aside from demon beast materials dropping in price following the beast tide, everything else would increase, including spirit rice. Since spirit rice was rising, following suit was entirely reasonable. Thinking of this, Elder Yen felt secretly pleased. Felt that he indeed possessed business acumen. Just as Elder Yen stepped out the door, a young cultivator hurriedly approached him. "Didn't I say, one at a time, your spirit field isn't due yet?" Elder Yen frowned slightly as he looked at the young cultivator in front of him. The young cultivator named Wu Ming had scheduled Elder Yen to water his spirit field in 5 days. "I'm not here to hurry you, Elder Yen," Wu Ming promptly explained, a hint of tension in his tone. "Then why are you here? Worried I'll run off with your deposit?" Elder Yen sneered. No. Wu Ming laughed awkwardly. After hesitating for a while, he finally revealed his purpose. "Elder Yen, could you refund my deposit? I won't trouble you for watering the spirit fields." "Not watering anymore?" Elder Yen furrowed his brows. "You better think carefully. The fruit-bearing period lasts less than 20 days. If you regret it, there won't be another chance." No regrets. Wu Ming quickly assured. "Fine, then I'll refund you." Elder Yen didn't mind. Refunding a spirit farmer's deposit was of no consequence to him. Numerous people sought him for watering spirit fields. Elder Yen fetched 2 spirit crystals from his storage pouch, preparing to hand them to Wu Ming, but suddenly remembered the rumors over the past few days. Could it be? Swiftly, he retrieved the spirit crystals. "Elder Yen, are you?" Wu Ming was taken aback. "I ask you, why aren't you seeking me for watering spirit fields?" Elder Yan's expression grew stern, a hint of probing in his eyes. "Well, this." Wu Ming stammered, panic surging within, unsure how to answer. "If you don't speak, don't even think about getting your deposit back." Elder Yen coldly chuckled, his tone fraught with threat.
Ah.
Wu Ming was greatly surprised but dared not offend Elder Yen, helplessly exposing his reasons for refunding the deposit. I found someone else for watering the spirit fields."
Who?
"Did spirit rain skill truly just recently break through?" Elder Yen pressed further. "It's Su Ping. Indeed recently, and he waters an acre for only 1 spirit crystal." Wu Ming nervously hastened to confess all he knew. "Humph. Truly arrogant. Dare to snatch my business without even notifying." Elder Yen snorted, his heart aflame with anger. "Yeldy, Elder Yen, about the deposit." Wu Ming was uneasy, growing more tense. Elder Yen didn't reply, directly tossing the spirit crystals to Wu Ming. "Thank you, Elder Yen." Thrilled, Wu Ming tucked the crystals in his bosom and left, not turning back. Watching Wu Ming's gradually receding silhouette, Elder Yan's gaze cooled. I shall see what figure you are. He had roamed this place his entire life. Exerting power for many years, he definitely didn't want to be overturned in old age. Chapter 7. Chapter 7. Demon Beasts Emerging. The scorching sun was blazing down on the earth. Su Ping was focused on using the spirit rain skill in the spirit field, his entire body drenched in sweat, but his mood remained joyful. Watering the spirit field was actually a very tiring and tedious task. Each time he cast the spell, Su Ping gave it his all, and after watering, his mana was almost depleted. What kept Su Ping maintaining a positive work attitude, besides the benefits brought by watering the spirit field, was also the increasing experience with each casting. The feeling of incremental progress was truly irresistible for him. Spirit Rain Skill, Experience +1. After finishing watering another acre of spirit field, Su Ping let out a long sigh of relief. After a short rest, he hurried on to the next acre of spirit field. The onlookers on the ridge grew in number, and the discussions rose and fell. Fellow Taoist Su's spirit rain skill is indeed better than Elder Yan's. Who says it's not? Haha, I've already signed up. Fellow Taoist Su is coming to water my family's spirit field tomorrow. Why didn't you tell me earlier? I don't even know when it'll be my turn. Under a distant tree's shade, Elder Yan's face was heavy, his gaze fixed tightly on Su Ping. So it's him. He instantly recognized Su Ping as the person who had watched him water the spirit field a few days ago. I underestimated this kid. Elder Yan's face was ugly. He originally thought that Su Ping's spirit rain skill had just broken through, never expecting that his attainment was nearly catching up to his own. It seemed that the boy came specifically to probe into his situation that day. Truly premeditated. Elder Yan's eyes were as cold as frost. Now, being old and weak, he could exert at most half his power. Even with higher cultivation, he certainly couldn't compare to Su Ping. And then, taking advantage of the beast tide to raise prices, suddenly appeared with extremely low prices to snatch his customers. As long as the other farmers weren't foolish, they would naturally know whom to choose. Moreover, in contrast, it made him seem even greedier. He feared that during the next fruiting period, hardly any farmer would seek him out. This was meant to cut off his livelihood. Really a good tactic. Since you are ruthless, don't blame me for being unkind. Elder Yan snorted coldly and turned to leave. He originally intended to have a talk with Su Ping, but now it seemed completely unnecessary. If Su Ping knew what Elder Yan thought, he would definitely cry injustice. If Elder Yan had come a few days earlier, he could see that Su Ping's spirit rain skill indeed just broke through not long ago. But after all, he didn't have a proficiency panel and certainly wouldn't think that within these few days, Su Ping's spirit rain skill had improved again. As for cutting off his livelihood, it was even more of a grievance. By this time next year, Su Ping would probably have become a spirit plant farmer and wouldn't compete for these spirit farmer businesses. He merely intended to make a quick profit for now. What a pity. All of this, both sides might never know. Afternoon. Su Ping and Old Man Lu arrived at Zhao Tao's home. Just reaching the spirit field, a woman about 25 or 6, with a well-proportioned figure and snow-white skin, akin to a ripe peach, came into view. This was Zhao Tao's Dao companion, LV Lu. Out of appreciation, Su Ping stole a few more glances. Too bad she already belongs to someone, otherwise she would suit you, fellow Taoist Su, unless you like married women. Then forget what I said. Seeing the scene, Old Man Lu jokingly whispered to Su Ping. Su Ping rolled his eyes. He was no Chao Gong. Fellow Taoist Su, fellow Taoist Lu, you're here. LV Lu smiled, blooming like a water lily in the sunlight, displaying the charming grace of a mature woman. Not late, right? Su Ping clasped his hands and smiled. Not late at all. Thank you, fellow Taoist Su. LV Lu smiled with her brows. You're welcome. Su Ping clasped his hands in response, a gentle smile on his face. Seeing the two talking, Old Man Lu gave Su Ping a wink aside. Su Ping couldn't be bothered with him, went straight into the spirit field, and began wielding the spirit rain skill. Already familiar with the routine, Su Ping watered all of LV Lu's spirit fields in less than an hour. Fellow Taoist Su. When he sat by the field ridge to rest, LV Lu handed him a towel, softly saying, "You've worked hard, fellow Taoist Su." "Thank you." Su Ping didn't hesitate. He took the towel to wipe the sweat from his forehead. This silk handkerchief was very clean with a faint, delicate fragrance. "Has fellow Taoist Zhao not returned from hunting demons?" Su Ping asked after getting up and returning the towel. Zhao Tao was at the 6th level of Qi cultivation, having formed a demon hunting team to specialize in hunting demon beasts to earn spirit stones, and typically earned much more than Su Ping. "Not yet." LV Lu's face showed a trace of worry. "Nowadays, there are so many demon beasts outside the market. I intended to persuade him to stop hunting, but he wouldn't listen, saying this is a great opportunity." "So many demon beasts?" Su Ping's heart skipped a beat, quickly asking, "What's going on?" Just as life was heading towards prosperity, how could an accident happen? "This is normal. Our market is on the edge of the longevity realm, close to the wilderness. There is a small beast tide every few years." Old Man Lu intervened. "Would the beast tide threaten the market?" Su Ping pursued. "It wouldn't. Our market was established by the longevity sect, guarded by a great foundation establishment cultivator. Typically, the beast tide poses no threat." Old Man Lu shook his head. "Fellow Taoist Lu's experience is vast. As long as you stay in the market, there shouldn't be any danger," LV Lu also softly assured. "That's good." Hearing their words, Su Ping breathed a slight sigh of relief. If the demon beast tide truly threatened the market, with his current level of cultivation, it would be near impossible to survive. "Alas, my man is stubborn. Now that the longevity sect has issued a demon hunt order, he won't listen even more." LV Lu sighed lightly. "Demon hunt order?" Noticing Su Ping's puzzled expression, LV Lu explained. "The demon hunt order is a task issued by the longevity sect to hunt demon beasts. Currently, hunting demon beasts allows you to earn an extra spirit stone and also obtain contribution points from the longevity sect." Contribution points. Su Ping was slightly shocked inside. This was generous indeed. Contribution points were valuable. They could be used to exchange for a ticket to leave Dongwu Market. Dongwu Market, near the wilderness, was 3,000 miles away from the closest human community. For an ordinary cultivator to traverse such a vast distance was simply a fool's dream, as demon beasts, malevolent spirits, and poisonous creatures on the journey could easily claim their lives. The only safe way to travel was by taking the longevity sect's spiritual boat. Tickets to Dongwu Market were quite cheap, only costing 20 spirit stones, and even allowed credits. As long as one farmed as a spirit farmer to repay slowly, and after settling the debt, they could leave any time. The original owner was tricked into coming this way. However, staying longer reveals that for an ordinary spirit farmer, leaving is just an impossible dream. Because a ticket to leave costs 200 spirit stones each. Completely unaffordable for them. Of course, the longevity sect knew ordinary cultivators couldn't afford such expensive tickets, so they kindly presented other options. For instance, signing a contract to help the longevity sect farm for 30 years. After that, the ticket price would significantly drop to just 20 spirit stones. Or by making contributions to the longevity sect in exchange for contribution points. Having enough, the ticket becomes free. Chapter 8. Chapter 8. Hiring an assassin. It's not enough to have great rewards. You need to have a life to claim them. If only my husband had skills like fellow Taoist Su. LV Lu gazed at Su Ping, her eyes seemingly shimmering with spring water, revealing a touch of tenderness. Su Ping forced a somewhat awkward smile. "Taoist Zhao's mana is powerful. He earns way more spirit stones than I do. But that involves risks. I just want to live a peaceful life," LV Lu said with a worried expression, her brow showing a hint of timidity, like a lovable white rabbit. He. Su Ping had no words to retort, so he could only smile awkwardly. Old Man Lu watched the two, with a somewhat meaningful glance. Leaving LV Lu's house, on the way to the next household. Fellow Taoist Zhao is at the 5th level of Qi cultivation. Su, you should be careful, Old Man Lu implied meaningfully. I'm not doing anything. Why should I be careful? Su Ping was utterly speechless. That's not for certain. With fellow Taoist Elvi's charming demeanor, can you restrain yourself? Old Man Lu teased. Women only slow down my cultivation speed, Su Ping said with a blank expression. Hee. Old Man Lu looked unconvinced. Such a beautiful woman showing interest in you, with the added allure of being married. 99% of men can't control themselves.
2.
The sun slanted westward. Elder Yen walked out of his house and, with familiarity, arrived at a secluded place. The surrounding scenery was desolate, with only a few scattered households and sparse spirit fields, appearing bleak and lifeless. Elder Yen wrapped his clothes tighter and walked to the front of a courtyard, where a few leftover bones were thrown about, emitting a pungent smell. Is fellow Taoist Ding at home? Elder Yen lightly knocked on the courtyard gate. After a moment, there was some movement inside, and soon the house's door was opened by a bald man with a full beard. His gaze was as sharp as a knife, piercing straight over, chilling to the bone. I wondered who it was. Turns out it's fellow Taoist Yen. What brings you here? The man grinned grimly, an ominous aura instantly spreading. Elder Yen remained composed, smiling in response. Why not invite me in for a sit? Ha ha. The visit of fellow Taoist Yen brings glory to my humble abode. How could I not invite you in? The man laughed heartily, inviting Elder Yen inside. His home was extremely simple, without even a cup for water, evidently not planning on staying long. Elder Yen seated himself before a gray-white table, his eyes scanning the man's simple dwelling, and asked, Where's your brother? Off having fun. Tell me, what do you need? Fellow Taoist Yen doesn't visit without purpose.
1.
Fellow Taoist Ding, you speak straightforwardly, so I won't beat around the bush. Elder Yen smiled slightly, his tone suddenly turning icy. It's nothing major, just need you brothers to help me kill someone. The man was taken aback for a moment, then burst into laughter. Fellow Taoist Yen, you jest. We brothers are good people. We wouldn't dare kill. Upon hearing this, Elder Yen remained unfazed, continuing to speak to himself. A Qi cultivation 3rd level spirit farmer, with no backing or background. His value should be quite decent now. The man's eyebrows raised, leaning back on the chair, arms crossed in front of his chest. What? Did this spirit farmer offend fellow Taoist Yen? I just need him to disappear. No need to ask more. Elder Yen replied calmly. A sinister smile crept up the man's lips. All right, I can help you, but you have to tell me, how many spirit stones are you willing to pay? 15 spirit stones, and everything on him belongs to you. Elder Yan's tone remained steady. Haha, 15 spirit stones? You think my brothers and I are what? Beggars? Ding Meng laughed, the sound echoing in the empty room, particularly grating. Elder Yen furrowed his brow slightly, pondered for a moment, then continued. I can add some conditions. If you can finish within 3 days, I'll give you another 10 spirit stones. The man's eyes became sharp, seemingly weighing the conditions offered by Elder Yen, calculating the benefits in his mind. Ultimately, he nodded. Since we're friends, my brother and I will take a loss this time. Deal. Elder Yen smiled slightly, quietly breathing a sigh of relief. If you want to cut off my livelihood, don't blame me for being merciless. Here is his portrait and a down payment of 10 spirit stones. I'll pay the rest after the job is done. Elder Yen handed Su Ping's portrait and 10 spirit stones to the man. This portrait, whoever drew it, was astonishingly lifelike. Don't mess it up. Elder Yen cautioned emphatically. Don't worry, we brothers are professionals. The man put the spirit stones into his storage pouch, carefully examining the portrait. After the agreement was made, Elder Yen didn't linger and turned to leave. Nightfall. Elder Yen walked several steps in the dark, suddenly stopping and looking back at that simple courtyard gate, a sinister smile tugging at his lips. With such a high cost, you're dying in the right way. 2 days later, in the morning, At Elder Yan's house. What's this? You want to return the deposit too? Elder Yan looked extremely displeased, glaring at the middle-aged man in front of him. That's already the fourth one in the past 2 days. Elder Yan, my wife is sick and needs spirit stones for treatment, so I really don't have any to spare for watering the spirit fields. The middle-aged man stammered, providing an excuse. Humph, sick. Elder Yan snorted coldly. Yesterday, he saw the middle-aged man's wife vigorously arguing with someone. And now she's suddenly sick? However, Elder Yan didn't expose him, instead silently keeping a note of it. The ones returning the deposit these past few days, mocking him behind his back, are all noted in his mind. Once that brat dies, I'll deal with you all properly. But it's been 2 days. Why haven't the Ding brothers made a move yet? Elder Yan felt anxious and irritated. He really wished he could flay Su Ping's skin and tear out his bones. As the sunset slowly descended, golden rays of light scattered on the tranquil phoenix trees, draping Dongwu Market in a warm golden veil. Having completed another day of work, Su Ping walked wearily along the road. But thinking about the spirit stones he earned during this period, he felt all his fatigue vanish. Including today's 2 spirit stones, his savings totaled 10 spirit stones. 3. Although it wasn't enough to rent a house in the market center, to Su Ping, this was a huge sum. At least it could allow him to live comfortably for a year. He couldn't help but ponder how he'd shop in the market, improving his current life. First, buy at least a few more sets of clothes. This set is almost worn out, and then get a few more pounds of demon beast flesh. I wonder if the market sells condiments. As Su Ping passed through a grove of phoenix trees, 2 figures suddenly appeared in his view, one tall, one short. One at the 5th level of Qi cultivation, the other at the 4th. Sensing the undisguised spiritual power and malice from the other party, Su Ping's heart tightened and he warily shouted, "Who are you?" He didn't recognize them at all, but his intuition told him they were not here with good intentions. The ones who want your life. The short Qi cultivation 4th level cultivator, around 30 years old, with a black spot on his face, sneered as he held a few talismans, flanking Su Ping to cut off his retreat.